What is the very first thing that you need to do when you're going to fish a crankbait? First cast. First cast. Whoa! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. July 25. July 25. What happens July 25? Happy birthday to my incredibly great son, Jamie. I'm telling you, he is something else. That boy, we call him Gadget. He can fix anything in the world. He runs our boat dealership and has run it for many, many, many years. And he does a tremendous job running that boat dealership. He's just an amazing son. What can I say? He's just an amazing son. And I couldn't get by without my two kids, Sherry and Jamie, or my third kid, Richard. Richard runs our retail store. We've raised Richard ever since he was a little baby. And he's just a great, great son as well. But today is Jamie's birthday. This is birthday week. This is birthday time at the Houston household. Chris's birthday is a couple days from now, and mine is July 28th. So we all get a little bit older here toward the end of July. It's a great month. I think the best month of the year. Not quite the hottest month of the year, but it's really close to it. And it's going to be another burner out here today. July 25. We actually got a little bit of cool weather in, and it's not quite as bad as it has been. It's really not. I mean, it's we had a little cold front come in, and it's a little bit better than normal, but it's still plenty hot. Plenty hot. Going to get up there, not to 100, but close to it. July 25. We're looking at Isaiah 29:18. This is a wonderful verse. This is a wonderful verse. At that time, the deaf will hear, and the blind will see. At that time, the deaf will hear, and the blind will see. Oh my goodness. What a glorious day that will be when the deaf will hear, and the blind will see. It's actually happened here on earth. This was back before Jesus was born. When Jesus showed up, the deaf heard, and the blind were able to see. Here's what I wrote about that. Underwater rock piles. Underwater rock piles are some of the hottest bass holding structures that you can find, especially this time of the year. Once summertime hits, you can best bet bass will start heading for those rocks. A great technique is a heavy roller jig, a football head jig. A football head jig is one that's shaped like a football. The hook comes up over the top in the middle of that, and it's a really, really good bait to fish down deep in the summertime. You can bounce that bait off of the rock pile. This extra noise really helps the fish hone in on your bait. Another excellent bait, by the way, is a deep diving crankbait that will go down and hit those rocks. One that you can reach the rocks with. If you can't reach the rocks with it, you're probably not going to catch a whole lot of fish. But if you can reach the rocks with a crankbait, and you know, some lakes, rock piles are 6 or 8 feet deep. Others are 20, 25 foot deep. So if you can get a crankbait that will reach down and bounce off the top of those rocks and create that noise also, again, that's another good bait. That roller head jig, or a football head jig, or a deep diving crankbait. The extra noise is what you're trying to do. Knock your baits on those rocks. As we get older, that's happening to every one of us, not just those of us that had a birthday this month. As we get older, our ability to hear and see begins to weaken. Isn't it comforting to know that this regression is only temporary, and it'll change in an instant when we die and move on to our eternal reward with Jesus Christ? You hear what I'm saying? Our body is deteriorating here on earth, but all of that will change in a heartbeat when we die and move on to our eternal reward with Jesus. This old body, these old senses wear out, but God, Almighty God, has already designed a heavenly body, a perfect body for you and me, a perfect body for you and me. I certainly can't hear as good as I used to. I can see good because I've got bionic eyes. I've had all that surgery done on my eyes, and my eyes are great. But I can't hear good. A lot of other things don't work nearly as well as they used to. Not only for those of us who have used up this body, but here's a cool thing. For many whose eyes will see and whose ears will hear for the very first time. For the very first time. They'll be able to see. They'll be able to hear for the very first time. Oh, what glory heaven really is. We just can't imagine. We think about how it'll affect us, but just think about how it'll affect those who have never been able to see on this earth or never been able to hear. Our tip for today, always check to make sure that your crankbait is running straight. That's exactly right. If you're going to fish crankbait, that crankbait needs to be running straight. Throw that thing out there, point your rod tip right at it, wind it in pretty fast. And if that crankbait's going off to the left, going off to the right, you need to adjust it. You need to adjust it where it runs perfectly straight. Most of the time, you want your crankbait running perfectly straight. There are times when you want it running to the left, maybe fishing around a boat dock or fishing a riprap, or you want it to run to the left or to the right, and you can adjust it and make it do that. The majority of the time, throw that baby out there, put your rod tip right at it, make it sure it's coming right straight back to you. That's going to get the maximum depth, the maximum action out of it, and it'll catch the maximum amount of fish. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I sure do love you.